Hey guys, we're back here. Talk Shit Sports. Angel O, Jimmy Weed. Some people are saying we should say Jimmy Blaze, but I like
Jimmy Blaze.
Yeah,
that one I haven't been called yet.
Man, well, we had a great week last week. I'm excited. I went 3-1 last week. My picks.
Did you make any money?
No, I didn't make any money, but I know we'll start.
That's when it counts. That's when it counts, when you start actually, putting down some money, and because it's, when you have to go against the spread or all that, that's when it starts getting a little bit interesting.
Right. Well, I went straight up, but I think overall I have only lost a couple games in the last couple of weeks, so doing pretty good. How about you, Jaime?
I'm doing okay.
Well,
not as good as you.
Well, we'll start with the first game. Obviously, we know it was an emotional pick for me. It was the Rams-Packers game. Obviously, I wouldn't bet on that game. My team was not all there. Green Bay's on another level right now. Aaron Donald's hurt.
Aaron Donald, you knew that he wasn't right when he was out on third down plays. If you don't have Aaron Donald playing on third down when you know that they're going to come after the quarterback, you know that there's something wrong with him. He was out for a lot of the very important plays, and you could tell that he wasn't himself. And it wasn't actually like a rib fracture, from what I understand. It was cartilage tear, which is even worse. It hurts even more so than having a fractured rib.
Oh, wow.
So, he wasn't there. Cooper Kupp wasn't available. Jared Goff didn't play bad. Yeah. He really didn't. I was
surprised.
21 for 27. He had 174 yards, I believe. One touchdown, no interceptions.
Which is a miracle.
But the fact that, they didn't get to Aaron Rodgers. The defense didn't get to Aaron Rodgers. That was the key in that game.
When he was in the end zone, like Houdini, moving around and threw it to a first down.
Yeah.
I was like, this is crazy.
And that's the thing. Aaron Rodgers can move. He's very mobile, quick release. He reads his progressions so quickly. He knows exactly where everybody is. But the fact that they couldn't put any pressure. He said it in the interview after the game. He said, I was clean. They didn't touch me. And if you don't touch Aaron Rodgers with the best defensive line or the number one defense in the game, then, you're at his mercy, basically. Jalen Ramsey, he was running like a chicken with his head cut off after Davante Adams. Davante Adams got separation from Jalen Ramsey, just doing incredible stuff, using his speed, great scheme by Matt LaFleur. It was all in that. That's why Green Bay, to me, is and consider the number one offensive team in the league, and that's why I picked them at the very beginning to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think so. I think they win it all, but I know Casey's favorite, but Rams next.
I don't know if Casey's favorite anymore, because we're going to see what happens with Patrick Mahomes.
Well, yeah,
he's in concussion protocol all this week. We'll see.
Right, we'll talk about that right now. But I don't know. They're talking about Goff. McVay talked about he's a quarterback right now. I don't know. He didn't draft him. I don't know what the future is with Goff and the Rams.
Look, you committed a lot of money to Jared Goff.
Right.
You signed him before the season to a huge contract. He did take the team to the Super Bowl. But as a number one overall pick, he just doesn't seem like the guy that's going to take you to the promised land. I don't know. They had a great offense a couple of years ago when they went to the Super Bowl. They held the Pats to 13 points, but they could only score 10.
Right.
So that's the thing to me. Jared Goff is not the type of quarterback that you can say, all right, you know what? It's on your shoulder. He's definitely not an Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
He's not a Patrick Mahomes. He's not a Lamar Jackson. He's not a Josh Allen. He's a quarterback that needs help from the entire team. He's not the one that is going to put the entire team on his back and take you to the promised land. That's just not Jared Goff. I've said it time and time again. If the Rams want to go to the Super Bowl, they need another quarterback. It's not Jared Goff.
Well, you said before, I heard you say this, that you've actually, when you interviewed Jared Goff, you just saw, it was like he wasn't there, like he was not present or just...
Yeah, I don't know. His gaze, I don't know if it's his demeanor, which is very even keel, or I don't know. There's just something odd about Jared Goff. Like there's something missing. You can see it in an athlete's eye. Yeah. When they're that type of just a spectacular athlete. When you know that they're going to captivate every single team member, just a couple of words and you're hooked. That's not Goff.
Yeah.
Goff just seems a little bit odd, a little bit distant from people. I don't know. There's something just different about Jared Goff.
Yeah, I mean, I never met him, and I just seeing him on TV, you could tell it's just he don't have that. I don't know that it's something about him.
He's got no charisma.
He's Jared Off.
He's Jared Goff, he should be Jared Off.
Well, next year Rams will regroup and hopefully we'll have a good year next year. But Packers look really, really good. The next game, the Senior Bowl, Tampa Bay Saints game.
You know what? That was a great game. Got to call it on Fox Deportes. It was a great game. 13 all at the half. But you could tell, and you've been seeing this for a few weeks now. As a matter of fact, I believe Drew Brees had 3 interceptions from week 1 to week 10. After he came back from the injury, he had 3 interceptions, from I believe it was week 15 on when he came back from the injury. And then he had 3 picks, in the divisional game against Tampa. First and foremost, a couple of the picks weren't his fault. They were Brandon Cook's fault, the tight end, at least one of them. But the thing is, he just doesn't have the arm strength anymore. He floats his passes in there. He doesn't have zip on the ball. It's sort of like Peyton Manning towards the end of his career. He just couldn't get the ball there on time. I mean, the windows in the NFL are so small. You need to zip it in there. And he just doesn't have that anymore. He can't do it. And that's why I think he got picked off 3 times. To me, it's, he's been great for the game. Whatever you want to say, he's been an ambassador, this and all that. Social issues, set aside. He's been great for the game, but it's time to go. It's time for Drew Brees to go play with his kids. He just can't compete at the level that you expect a Drew Brees to be at anymore. Tom Brady, he can still do it. It's unbelievable. 43 years old, and the old man, he can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, Brees, he got picked off 3 times, but he was also overthrowing balls, which you don't really see with Drew Brees. It was weird.
Yeah, that's the thing. His timing isn't what it used to be, but I think, the reason why he was overthrowing the ball was because he knew that he needed to get to his receivers. He knows he doesn't have the arm strength anymore, so he needs to put a little bit more air on it, whatever, and that's why they couldn't catch up to his passes anymore. The pass where he got intercepted and almost taken back for a touchdown, the first pick, Michael Thomas got no separation, and I believe it was Murphy Bunting who picked it off. It was right at him. Right. So just, thanks, Drew. But incredible numbers. The number that I was completely amazed by was that if you add both Drew Brees and Tom Brady's passing yards, it equals over 100 miles.
Wow!
In passing yards. That's between amazing. The two of them. That's insane.
I mean, it was good to see both of them out there. I mean, Drew Brees, just a great guy. Great for the sport. I mean, he's like you said, retired and hang out with the kids. I mean, but I got to give it up to Tampa Bay defense. They did a phenomenal. They were stepping up their game. Number 45, I think, is Devin White.
Devin White.
Man,
Devin White
he's
is
a
a stud.
beast, man.
He came into the game. Check out this stat. Players that had 9 sacks or more, right? He had 140 tackles coming into the game, right? 140 tackles. I believe he had 10 or 11 tackles. He had a fumble recovery. He had the pick, to seal the deal. He was all over the place. That middle linebacker, he was absolutely all over the place. Hats off to, Todd Bowles and his defense. It's going to be a little bit more difficult going into the frozen tundra up in Green Bay and, Lambeau Field and trying to beat Aaron Rodgers. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think Green Bay wins that game. But wow, I mean, just the numbers from all these guys that you see. And, Tom Brady, first year in the NFC, and he gets to the championship game. I know, there's a lot of people that want to say that their teams are the greatest, whatever, Raider fans.
Or Cowboys.
Cowboys. Come on. The Cowboys have been in the NFC since 1997. That's 24 years? This year? Yeah, 24 years. You haven't made it to the championship once. Not once.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
Tom Brady's 1 for 1, first season in NFC. Wow, amazing. But just to mention, Michael Thomas was playing hurt. He's going to have surgery on his torn deltoid and other ligaments. They were saying that Michael Thomas wanted to play for Drew Brees. He knew it was his last season, and he went out there hurt, still trying to. You could tell he was hurt.
He was hurt. He was hurt all year long.
Yeah, he was.
He had the hamstring issue.
Right.
He had the ankle issue. He had all sorts of issues. Trust me, I know. I picked him number 1 in my fantasy league this year, and he didn't do jack for me all year long. I mean, he was. I think he played 5 games tops during the regular season. Yeah. I mean, he was just, he wasn't himself.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he gets better, get that surgery, and come back. Quick question: the last time Tampa Bay won a Super Bowl was
against the Raiders.
Against
the Raiders.
The Traitors.
Chucky was the head coach.
Didn't the Raiders trade Chucky to Tampa Bay?
I believe so.
Traded their head coach.
Man. Karma's a bitch.
I mean, you trade your head coach and he beats you in a Super Bowl.
That's some incredible stuff.
I think one of the Raiders players was down in Tijuana, and TJ.
He one of the offensive linemen. Yeah. I think he had some sort of like mental breakdown, and he was AWOL. They couldn't find him before the game. They didn't know where he was.
Loose in TJ.
Yeah.
Well, there. How about them Cowboys and how about them Raiders? Right?
And another thing, can you imagine Jameis Winston? If you would have told me that there was a touchdown pass thrown by the Saints, and it wasn't Drew Brees, it was Jameis Winston, Mr. Interceptions himself. He's the one that had the touchdown pass in that game. That's incredible.
Well, what was cool about that is that Chicago did that to
it was
New
the
Orleans.
same play. It was
and
the same
Sean
play.
Payton took that play.
Sean Payton saw the play, and it was the same thing. The only difference was that Mitchell Trubisky lined up, as the wide receiver on the right.
Okay.
For
the Bears.
For the Bears, the starting quarterback. Jameis Winston is the one that came in. And it would have been Taysom Hill had he been able to play, but he was out injured, so he wasn't able to come in. So it was Jameis Winston. They ran the exact same play.
Some people said Jameis Winston would have played. They would have beat the Bucs. But who knows? I don't know.
I don't know about that because we know how much Jameis Winston loves throwing picks.
Yeah, we know. Well, enough about them. Let's move on to the Bills and the Ravens. I know you picked the Ravens.
I picked the Ravens. I thought that they were going to run the ball all over the Bills, but the Bills, their defense did a great job.
They stepped up.
They really did a great job.
Taron Johnson.
They oh yeah. Well, what was it? 101 yard interception return.
And that was in the end zone. So that the momentum just was over after that.
Oh, absolutely.
They were about to score, and that one.
And soon after that, Lamar Jackson
was out.
Was taken out because of concussion. So once that happened,
I mean,
it was over.
He had 162 yards, Lamar Jackson, and only 42 yards rushing on 9 carries. The defense did a great job.
Oh, they did a great job. They knew what they needed to do, and that was stop Lamar Jackson.
Well, they did it. I mean, I saw on I forgot where it was at, but Lamar actually after the game was signing autographs for the Bills fans, and he's a good dude. Like,
well, not only that, but Bills Mafia. I mean, their fans have this thing that they do where they contribute to an opponent's charity. And when he came out of the game with a concussion, immediately they started, contributing to his charity fund.
I think his number, right?
It's for kids in the Baltimore area, something backpacks. I can't remember exactly the name of his charity right now, but I believe they've raised over $100,000.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's insane. I mean, and good for them. That's something that you don't see. Usually, when you don't like another team or whatever, you're not going to do anything positive for other teams. And so, you know what, Bills fans, hey, hats off.
I don't think the Bills fans may would have done that if they lost, but who knows, right?
Who knows? Probably not. But
well, they got a good culture. I mean, that mafia, that Bills mafia, that's pretty cool. I mean, pretty awesome what they did, and what a good dude for him to do that with those kids that were waiting out there in the freezing cold for him to come out, which is awesome. So we'll move on to the next game, Chiefs and Browns. That was an interesting game.
It was an interesting game. Look, Kansas City could have blown them out of the water real quick. But they had to settle for some field goals. That, that when you're kicking field goals, it keeps the other team in the game. It was 19-3 at the half. It could have been much worse for Cleveland. And then they came out in the second half. They started running, which is what they needed to do. They, Kareem Hunt scored. It was 19-10. Then another field goal by Kansas City. But then, Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. He comes out, has to go through concussion protocol. And then, we knew in the middle of the third quarter, he wasn't coming back. So Chad Henne had to step up. Chad Henne is someone who's been around. So he knows what to do. He's in there every single day with Patrick Mahomes. At the end of the game, I think he was the key for Kansas City to be able to keep the ball and run the clock out. He ran. I believe it was 3rd and 14. After a penalty, he ran. Dove head first. Yeah. He came up half a yard short.
It was very, very close.
Very close. I thought he had the first down. And then on 4th and 1, or 4th and inches, whatever it was, half a yard, he throws that pass to Tyreek Hill, to get the first down, and it was over. And immediately the hashtag anything is possible started to trend on Twitter, which was incredible.
Right, but big props to Andy Reid, because they were most teams try to psych you out to get you a penalty offsides to get a first down. And it looked like they were doing that. And as soon as it hit 5 seconds, boom, they hiked the ball, got the first down, game was over. I mean, that takes a lot of guts, Andy Reid, because they were in Cleveland's what I don't know what yard line they were in, but they would have turned the ball over. Cleveland would have got the ball back.
Yeah, they were,
and they were one touchdown away from winning the game.
Yes, and that's the thing. I mean, Baker Mayfield didn't get that chance, to drive down the field and try to get that score, to be able to win the game.
They were one mistake away from winning the game. That one where he reached into the end zone.
Yes. Who was it? Was it Kareem Mayfield or who was? I can't remember who it was.
I can't remember, but when he reached into the end zone, he fumbled into the end zone.
He fumbled into the end zone. He got hit as he was reaching into the end zone. And Kevin Stefanski, the coach for the Browns, says that is one of the rules that he has. When they're that close to the goal line, don't reach, because something really bad can happen. You can fumble it, the other team recovers it, or if it goes out of the end zone, then it's probably one of the worst rules in the NFL right now, which is the other team recovers it. I mean, it goes out of the end zone. It's a touchback, and you get penalized 20 yards. It starts on the 20-yard line. It's not like, you fumble it out of bounds like you do somewhere else on the field,
Right.
and you get to keep the ball. No, you fumble it, out of the end zone.
20 yards.
And it's a touchback, and you lose 20 yards. Basically, you get penalized 20 yards. It's probably one of the worst rules in football.
Yeah, I mean, that was a game changer right there when that happened. I mean, but Mahomes, he went out of the game. I mean, if he was in the game, it would have been a different story. But Mahomes, these guys, these running quarterbacks, Mahomes, Jackson, they're bound to get hurt. I mean, it's just
Sooner or later, yeah. Look, Mahomes was playing also on one wheel because in the first half he got stepped on, and I believe he twisted his ankle, and you could tell he was limping for most of the first half. He had a 13-yard run where you could tell that he was laboring, being able to get that first down. So props to Patrick Mahomes as well. But, we're going to talk about that later, whether he is able to make it back for the championship game or not, because that would be a significant loss for Kansas City.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, there's a lot of rumors going on in the NFL right now, a lot of things going on with Deshaun Watson. There's some people are saying that the Jets should be all in on Deshaun Watson. I don't know. What do you think?
Everybody should be all in on Deshaun Watson. Anybody who needs a quarterback should be looking to make a trade or do something to get Deshaun Watson. He's a special player. I mean, he can scramble. He's got a gun for an arm. He can run. He can do just about anything. Look, Texas, the Texans are a horrible team.
Right.
And he's the one that has been able to keep them, quote unquote, semi-afloat so far. And now not only has he exposed the way, the front office treats the players, now J.J. Watt is saying that he wants out as well. Are you kidding me? Those are the two faces of the Texans. Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt. You lose both of them. You know what? You might as well fold.
Yeah, I mean.
And the thing is, other players from the past have come out and said, you know what? Stand your ground. Andre Johnson,
Yeah.
one probably the best receiver to ever play for the Texans. Besides DeAndre Hopkins. But I do believe Andre Johnson, who is on the list this year again to go into the Hall of Fame. We'll see if he makes it or not. But, he said, you know what? Deshaun, stand your ground. Don't give in. The Texans don't treat their players properly. They don't treat them right. So now I believe Deshaun Watson, what he's been mad about is that ownership and the front office have told him that they were going to consult with him on important decisions like the GM hire, the new head coach hire, who they would interview. Apparently, they've done nothing of the sort. Not only that, I think to appease him now, they were going to interview, or they already interviewed, Eric Bieniemy, who is the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, who is the guy that Deshaun Watson wants as the new head coach. But up until this past weekend, they had even refused to interview Eric Bieniemy. Yes, you couldn't do it because he was still, with the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I believe it was up until this past weekend where the NFL changed the rules and he could interview. But they said that they were going to interview Eric Bieniemy. That's ridiculous. I mean, if your quarterback is asking you to please at least interview someone and you've told them that you're going to do it, why won't you do it?
At least get an interview.
I mean, Deshaun, you tell me, if I tell you, you put a package together and you can send Jared Goff to the Texans and you get Deshaun Watson, you do it in a heartbeat. You do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, I mean, heartbeat.
The San Francisco 49ers are considering packaging Nick Bosa with somebody else, and picks probably. Garoppolo. It could be Garoppolo.
He's got to go.
And send him over to the Texans for Deshaun Watson.
No.
I say do it in a heartbeat.
No. We don't want him in the 49ers. We don't want him on the 49ers.
You don't want him in the NFC West. I mean, can you imagine Deshaun Watson with the 49ers?
Well, then you have Russell Wilson and you have the little guy from Arizona Cardinals.
Kyler Murray. Oh my God.
They'd be running all over the West. So, man, that's a bit
Talk
crazy.
about Wild West.
Yeah, it'll be the Wild West. We better get a Wild West runner or quarterback too, because we'll be in trouble. But they saw Deshaun Watson, who was at the Nets game with his buddy Harden and Kevin Durant hanging out. He's been hanging out in New York, so I don't know what's going on with Watson, but he's
well, you got to think the possibilities for endorsements in New York for Deshaun Watson are immense.
Oh, huge.
The Jets. That's the only problem. It's the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets are the Jets.
It's like
it's like the Chargers.
It's like going to a black hole, and I'm not talking about the Raiders' black hole. It's like literally being swallowed by a black hole. Why? Because nobody hears from you again. I mean, just the Jets, the culture of the Jets the last 2 decades or so has been just atrocious. So if you go to the Jets, yes, they do have 2 first-round picks in 2021, 2 first-round picks the next year as well. So they do have somewhere to go. I believe they have a lot of cap space as well. I'm just not sure, though. I'm really just not sure if that's where you want to go.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I mean, we'll if I'm Deshaun Watson, I want to be traded to a team that seems to be, progressing.
He could come in and win.
And you can come in and win. You could go to, I'm not saying it because I'm a Dolphin fan, but look, if he goes to Miami goes from being, a playoff contender to a serious title contender.
He said Miami he would consider.
Yeah, he said he would consider Miami. San Francisco, that's another one. The Jets, I'm just not sure if the Jets is the right fit for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Plus, he'd be in a division where he would have to fight if he's, with the Jets. Josh Allen and the Bills. Miami's up and coming. New England, I don't think is going to stink up the joint again like they did this year. So you mean to tell me that Deshaun Watson is going to be able to lead them to the playoffs and be better than those 3 teams in the division? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot coming, a lot of rumors out there, but that's enough about football. We're going to move on to the NBA now. Brooklyn Nets, Durant, Harden, they're starting to gel. They look pretty good the first games they played together. They're saying they're grown men now. They were kids in Oklahoma. Now they're grown men.
They both had like 30 plus points in at least a couple of games that they've played together. But
in
now I want to
them,
see what in each of the 2 games. Now, I just want to see how they all gel with Kyrie back.
Well, they're saying if some happens with KD and Harden's numbers, they're going to blame it on Kyrie because he's going to be they'll see. It's going to be big. See what happens. But
look,
they got to go to the championship.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. I said it in our last podcast. I think for the Nets, it's championship or bust. Why? Because first of all, they gave up a hell of a lot to get James Harden. He wanted to go to the Nets. KD wanted him there. I don't know if Kyrie actually wanted him there. Maybe, maybe not. But now you've got 3 superstars who can ball, but they all need the ball, to be able to perform. So I don't know how it's going to come down when it really counts in the playoffs. In the regular season, things are a lot different. But in the playoffs, first of all, someone's going to need to play defense. James Harden is not that guy.
Right.
Harden doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
So, yes, they're going to be able to score, but can they stop anyone?
We will see. But they look good so far. They're saying KD's already looking like an MVP caliber season this year. KD's having a great season. So
we're just starting. Unfortunately,
if we make the season,
I hate to be, a guy that's always thinking, of what ifs and really bad scenarios. But you got to remember, KD is coming back from 2 seasons of injuries.
18 months off.
18 months, yes. I mean, the Achilles. He's coming back from an Achilles tear. And just the way that he goes, every time he goes up for a jumper, when he lands, I just expect him to buckle for whatever reason. And I know that's not right.
But he's so skinny and fragile.
But yes, he's so frail.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah.
I don't wish, ill will on KD. But what if he goes down? What if he gets hurt?
Well, they got 2 All-Stars that should be able to carry him. I mean, they got 2, Kyrie and Harden. I mean, I don't know.
I think KD is the voice of reason in that group.
If he's not there,
if he's not there, I think they'll fall apart.
For sure. Moving on to Delonte West is now working drug rehab. He's working at the rehab where they helped, I guess, Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban helped him out. He played for the Mavericks. Delonte West just, ran to a bit of hard times. He was homeless, living in squalor, basically, with a drug addiction. And I don't remember if it was Mark Cuban who saw him or somebody else saw him out on Skid Row one day, and they let Mark Cuban know. And, Mark Cuban, say what you want to say about him, he's always been very close with his players. Always. He's always treated them right. Something that maybe the Texans should give him a call and find out.
They're in Texas. I mean, down the street.
So, different sport, but, the mentality is what matters here. And he went out and he told him that he would help him out. He took him to rehab. And now Delonte West is working at that rehab center. Hopefully he gets his life back on track. He's a great. It'd be a great story.
Yeah.
I can see a documentary about Delonte West. And who knows? Maybe Mark Cuban can get him some sort of role on the Mavs. Maybe we'd see him as an assistant coach one day. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, people think just because you're a celebrity NBA player, make millions of dollars, that these guys don't go through hard times.
Everybody goes through a hard
drugs
time. Look, you've got to remember, most of these guys came from nothing. They get a lot of money, and then they go nuts with the money, and so they lose it. There's a lot of temptation. There's a lot of people also that lead them down the wrong path. A lot of quote unquote advisors who take their money. Bad investments. We don't know what the story is with Delonte West.
Yeah.
But the fact that now he sought out help, he's getting help. Now he's working at the same place where he is also a patient or was a patient. I think there's, a lot of progression there. And he could do probably a lot more things that are going to be beneficial not only for him but for others as well.
That's awesome. Great story. Hope he keeps it up and do well. To next topic is Luka Doncic. He passed MJ for the 29th triple double. That's pretty. I mean, he already passed MJ.
All right.
I mean,
okay. So you love hating on anything that's not LA, but let me ask you, if you had to choose one of these young guns right now to start your franchise, who would you choose?
Out of all these young guns?
Yeah.
I mean,
you've got Zion, you've got Ja Morant, you've got a bunch of other guys, the Greek Freak. I think I would go with Luka.
You think so?
I would go with Luka because he makes everybody around him better.
I mean,
I really think he will probably win a championship before the Greek Freak does.
You think so?
I actually do. I think Luka Doncic is that kind of a talent. He is spectacular.
On the Mavericks. You think he'll win it on the Mavericks?
On the Mavericks. I think they're a player or two from just being a dominating team. I mean, Luka can score. He can, score off the dribble. He can pass. He can do just about anything. He can make shots for himself. He doesn't have to score if he doesn't need to. He makes everybody on that team better. Well, you're always worried about Luka and what he's going to do. Ask LeBron. LeBron says, he's the next superstar.
No, he's definitely a superstar.
He doesn't have, the build that LeBron does. Can you imagine if Luka was built anywhere near what LeBron is? I mean, unstoppable.
I mean, Luka, he's been playing with grown men since he was young, since he was a teenager. In Spain, right?
He was the MVP of the Euro League at 19.
Wow. No, he's a great player. I mean, he's a facilitator. I mean, he like you said, he's a complete package. I mean, besides Eddie of my Lakers,
Luka is what the Chicago Bulls wished Tony Kukoc would have been.
Oh my God, yeah, of course.
That's exactly what they thought. They wished Tony Kukoc would have been a Luka Doncic.
Yeah, Tony Kukoc played his role. He played his role there.
He was a great player, but rings. Nowhere near what Luka is.
No, Luka's a completely different player, and you're right. I mean, outside of my Lakers, any Laker, outside of LA, AD, can't talk about. I would start with Luka. I would start a franchise with Luka. I think MJ or somebody would trying to start a shoe with him or a division with him with Luka.
Oh, absolutely. I would take him over AD. I would take him over the Greek Freak. I would take him over Zion Williams. I would take him over all of them right now, just because his potential, it's still growing. I mean, this kid does just some incredible things, out there on the court. It really is amazing. If you ever get the chance to watch him play live, because it's not the same thing watching him on TV and watching him live. This kid he's a magician with the ball.
He's so natural and smooth when you see him play. One of the cool things I saw him do was they had a game in Mexico.
Yeah.
And I think he shocked everybody when
he spoke Spanish?
He spoke perfect Spanish.
Perfect Spanish.
But he also said, no mames way, right?
No mames way.
Which, that's funny, to be in Mexico. And I don't think they expected that.
No, I don't think they expected
I think he won a lot of fans there, though.
Oh, absolutely.
He's
absolutely. Most of the guys that play in Europe, they know 3-4 languages.
Yeah.
So he speaks perfect Spanish, having played for Real Madrid. But yeah, this kid is talented all the way around.
Wow. Well, that's great. Now to move on here to MLB, we got some news here. New York Mets general manager Jared Porter fired for sending explicit text images to a reporter. What's up with this?
Okay. The most frightening 4-letter word nowadays is send.
Oh,
SEND.
It's so easy to send.
Tell you why, though. You just don't do that. Come on. This guy texted a reporter while he was with the Chicago Cubs. It's not now that he was hired about a month ago, I believe, with the Mets. But while he was with Chicago, he texted a reporter 60 times. I don't know what he said, but apparently she didn't answer. And finally, he decided to send a lewd picture. He finally said, you know what? Let me show you what I'm all about. And I'm sure what, was on that text or whatever picture that he sent, it really wasn't all that flattering to him. Because immediately, the reporter texted back, hey, stop it. I don't want to hear anything or see anything from you ever again. What surprises me, though, is that in vetting this guy out and seeing, what he was about by the Mets when they hired him, they didn't know something like this, right, was in the works. But, their new owner, has said that
zero tolerance.
He wants to run a tight ship, zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance.
So you know what? He said it, he did it, and he's gone.
Well, the culture's changing with the Mets, that's for sure.
Well, it's got to change for everybody. This is something that should not be allowed, no matter what.
Some people are saying that this shouldn't happen. this happened with the Cubs. Like, what does this have to do with the Mets right now? And there's
it's
a bunch
it's part of his character.
Absolutely.
It's integrity.
I agree 100%.
So you mean to tell me in anything, in corporate America, if they find out that you're doing something like that, you get run like that.
You're out.
You know what? It's see you later. Somebody's going to escort you out. There's no two buts about it. You're gone. So that's why in sports, when we see teams, being wishy-washy and giving people a chance, this and all that, I don't see why. It should be just like the rest of corporate America. You do something like that, you press send, and you're showing your wiener to somebody. Come on, there's no room for that unless it's your wife, your girlfriend, your partner, and that's where it's going. And even then, it can come out and bite you in the ass afterwards.
When you send it out to the internet, you don't know what's going to go, right?
That's why I'm telling you, the most dangerous word in the English language right now is send.
Yeah, like Cobra Kai, Johnny, send it to the internet. You don't know what's going to happen. It's going out there and, oh man, what an idiot. Make a big mistake.
Absolutely. So. You know what? We should have like the idiot of the week.
He is the idiot of the week.
He's the idiot of the week.
Dumbass of the week. The shithead of the week, right?
Absolutely.
He's the shithead of the week.
You know what? We'll have the emoji. We'll come up with the emoji, and we'll just show it. Who's the shithead of the week? Yeah, it's
there
Porter.
So, that's our show for today, Jaime. We had a great show today. A lot of great things happening. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. We got a lot of great things we'll be doing on YouTube. Myself, Angel O, Jimmy Weed. We are out.
All about the you, baby.